This tool actually helped me reach German B2 in just 6 months. You can import any text in any language, mark unknown words, look them up instantly and add definitions on the spot, all without ever leaving the page. In this video I'll show you exactly how to set it up and walk you through the features I use the most. Let's get started. Since Lute is a web application that runs locally on your computer, you need to download it first. But don't worry, it's actually pretty easy and quick. I'm using a MacBook, so I'll show you how to do this on macOS. If you're on Windows, the steps are very similar. Let's go to the installation page in the Lute manual. The easiest way to get started is by using pip. Pip is basically a tool that installs Python packages. In this case, we'll use it to set up Lute. You can just yank the script into your terminal and you'll be good to go. But for the sake of education, I'll quickly explain what each command does, so you don't feel lost. Alright, first we create a new folder for our project using this command. Then we move into that folder with cd, which stands for change directory. Next, we set up a virtual environment. This is basically a separate space just for our Lute project. It keeps everything clean and organized. This command creates a private Python workspace called myenv, and this one activates the virtual environment. Now when we install Lute using pip install, it will only be installed inside this project, not on your entire computer. Finally, we start Lute using Python. As you can see, the program is now running. We can open it by going to localhost in our browser. One important thing, don't close the terminal while you're using Lute, because that's what's keeping the app running. When you're done studying, you can either close the terminal window or press Ctrl+C to stop the program. Next time you want to study, go into your Lute folder, activate the virtual environment, start Lute with the Python command, open your browser and go to localhost. It sounds like a lot of steps, but if you don't use the terminal often, you can just press the up arrow key to scroll through your previous commands. Super easy. Now that Lute is up and running, let's actually start learning with it. When you launch it for the first time, you'll see a bunch of demo text in different languages and a short tutorial if you want to go through the basics yourself. To remove all of this, click here. Great. Now let's move on to importing your first text. But first, a quick tip for German learners. As I mentioned in my last video, there is a fantastic dictionary called DVDS. Lute lets you customize dictionaries. So let's set it up now. Go to Settings, Languages, Create New. Here we choose German and press Go. It installed a few dictionaries, but we want our own. So click the plus button, paste this link and hit save. All set? Let's finally start reading. To create a new text, hover over a book and click create new book. I found this text about Friedrich Nietzsche's life. Let's break it down. Copy and paste it into the text field. Set the language to German and title to Nietzsche, then save. Here is our text. All the words highlighted in blue are words we haven't learned yet. Let's fix that. If you already know a word, just skip it. As you finish reading, all unknown words will automatically move to the well-known category. To add a definition to a word, first simply click on it. On the right, you can edit the term. Well, I know that war means was, so let's add that definition. Above the translation field, you can see the parent's input. This is super helpful. In our example, war is the past tense of the verb sein, which means to be. Let's write it down and leave it for now. Okay, I know this word pretty well, so let's rate it 4 out of 5. In tags, I usually add grammatical properties like verb, then click save. Congrats, you've just created your first term. Now back to the parent terms. Let's choose our already familiar word and go to its parent. As you can see, the definition of sein is set to was, which is incorrect. When we created the va term, all its properties were assigned to its parent as well. This is Lute's default behavior, so let's change the definition to the correct one. Now, hovering over any child form shows both the word itself and the parent form. This makes grammar and sentence structure way easier to understand. Let's do one more to get the hang of it. Here, bekannter. Okay, is the muscular singular form of the adjective bekannt in the nominative case. It means famous or well-known. I know this word fairly well, but sometimes it takes a moment to remember. I'll give it a 3 on the scale. In text, I'll put adjective. I also kinda want to add an image to this term. It helps me connect with the meaning visually instead of just translating it into English. This one works perfectly. I'll copy it, go to the image tab, click here and paste it. Great. Now click save and see what we've got. I think I know the rest words pretty well, so let's mark it completed and return to the home page. Now, if we go to our terms and set the filter so it doesn't show well-known words, we can see all the words we need to review, all in one place. Then we can export them as a CSV file and import them into Anki, for example. Keybinds make your reading experience even smoother. For example, you can just hover over a word and set its status using the number keys from 1 to 5 or press W for well-known. If you get stuck on a sentence, just hover over any word in it and press T to translate it with DeepL. Or you can translate the whole paragraph by pressing Shift-T. The M key allows you to change themes, and H toggles highlighting. A few tips at the end to help you get the most out of learning through reading. It's much more beneficial to add definitions to your terms rather than translations. This forces your brain to think in the target language instead of defaulting to English. By defining a term and adding its synonyms, you broaden your vocabulary significantly. Next, don't stay on one text for too long. This is a tool for reading, not for constantly revisiting the same thing over and over again. By reading more texts, you'll naturally remember the most frequently used words and encounter many new ones. And finally, reading is a great way to learn a language, but it's not a magic pill. You still need to listen to spoken language and practice writing and speaking if you truly want to improve. So don't spend all your time in Lute, even though it's very beneficial. Just don't put all your eggs in one basket, and you'll do fine. That's it for today. Good luck on your learning journey. See you next time.